Hello, Braves country. It's Coach Ken Anderson, company for Hardcore Braves. Got my man Andrew Davison on here. And how you doing tonight?
Doing well, Ken. It's Friday. We're ready for this big old series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. Interesting. We finally won a series from the Mets, which is really good. We took two out of three, and a lot of good things in the series. A lot of good things. We're hitting the baseball against some tough pitchers. Uh, Martin Perez and Tyler Molly are showing out as starters. The bullpen pitched well. We do have a Rossio Iglesias problem, but that's kind of normal with closers. They get a little bit of dead arm. I'm with Walt. I'm not as worried about Rossio quite yet, especially if we can get Robert Suarez back. What are your thoughts just initially on us beating the Mets finally, two out of three?
It's about time that we beat our little sons this year. It was nice to see. I was at the ballpark on Wednesday, or Tuesday, excuse me. That was fun to go watch the game. But finally beat the Mets. But now we're on to another tough series at home.
Yes, the playoff kind of matchup. The Diamondbacks are coming in right now. If the playoffs were to start, they would be in. The Phillies, we're taping this, is up on Toronto, so they would move a half game ahead. But the Diamondbacks own the tiebreaker, so it would be the Phillies that would be out, and they would be the sixth seed. Arizona's a funny team. About the time you think they get it going, they take three out of four from the Dodgers. They look really good, and then they start slipping up again. They've lost their last two, but they are in playoff contention. They're a very scrappy team. Uh, how much have you watched the Diamondbacks, and what do you make of their team?
I've watched a little bit of the Diamondbacks. I think just knowing some of the named players on their team, they're good. They're fun to watch. They can hit. They can hit, and they hit with runners in scoring position. Their starting rotation's kind of been like ours this year. It's been banged up the entire year, and they've had a lot of changes that in the bullpen. I'm not really sure if they have a left-handed reliever in the bullpen. I do know a couple weeks ago they released Paul Sewald, so that's sad for us. But I've gotten to watch a little bit of them. I think they're a good ball club, especially when they play the Dodgers. They turn into the Dodgers when they play the Dodgers, and but I think this will be a fun series and a good matchup for the Braves because this could be a team we potentially face in the first round, or if we get the 3 seed in the wild card.
I agree. This is another good tone setter. I don't think we fell against the Yankees, but we definitely didn't get what we wanted. Losing two out of three, but I think our team knew it's another chance to do that. This is a good hitting team. So, like as you said, the one thing about their team is, and I don't know why we keep running in this, we are going to get their three best starting pitchers. We in this cycle, it seems like everybody's throwing their best pitchers against us. So let's look at the pitching matchups real quick. We're going to get Chris Sale Friday night. Going to go for us. And they're going to throw Brandon Faw. Now, Brandon Faw is an interesting pitcher in the fact that he throws great, and then he throws not so great. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Bryce Elder. You don't really know what you're going to get. Most of the time, he's good. Saturday, Eduardo Rodriguez, who was a All-Star, started the All-Star game, is going to get Grant Holmes, and that's an interesting matchup. Sunday, old friend Mike Soroka, who's just come off the IL, pitched one start. He'll be going, and he'll go against Bryce Elder. I think Bryce will be out to he was really disappointing the way through in that first inning against the Mets. What are your overall thoughts about the pitching matchup?
It's a good pitching matchup all around for all 3 games. Like you said, we're getting their 3 best pitchers, so it's 3 straight series in a row. But it'll be a good challenge for our hitters. And with Chris Sale going Friday night, I really like our chances there. And we've seen these pitchers this year, actually. I think this might be the same 3 pitchers we faced in Arizona earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Um,
we faced all three of them. Split. It was a 4 game set up there. We split
that's
2-2,
right.
but we did face these three same pitchers in that series.
Yeah, which kind of gives me a little bit more confidence with our offense. But This will be a good series. The pitching matchups are good across the board, and I do look forward to Bryce hopefully bouncing back on Sunday.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going to see how Bryce does. And of course, Grant has a streak going here. Grant's throwing the ball very well, so we'll see how Grant does. I'm glad Chris is not going on the 9 days. I don't like it at all.
Me
That
neither.
get in this rotation. Walt says he doesn't like a 6-man rotation. I'm a big Walt fan, but I also don't like the 9 days off Walt. So we can agree on something. Either fix it. Either let's just go to 5-man and let him pitch every fifth day, or if we're going to give him extended rest, go to a 6-man rotation with AJ Smith-Shawver. So we'll see how that is. There may be something to go on this weekend because AJ Smith-Shawver and Reynolds are both eligible to come back to the Major League roster. So we'll see how that goes. The Diamondbacks, as far as a hitting team, they're not a they do hit homers, but they're not like you say, oh, this is a lot of home run hitting team. They're a scrappy team. They hit doubles, triples. They can run. They put the ball in the ballpark. They've got sneaky guys that can hit the ball. Their main best players are Corbin Carroll, Cato Marte, and Geronimo Perdomo. And they're having pretty good years. They're having good years. And Moreno's a really good catcher. He's having a decent year. Old man Arenado is anytime can run into one. What do you think about their lineup going into the series?
It's a really good lineup, and you kind of just hit on all their stars, especially Corbin Carroll. That kid's one of the best outfielders in the game of baseball. Gabby Moreno has been playing really well, especially against the Dodgers. He owned them. Ketel Marte and Perdomo are great 1-2 punch at second base and shortstop, and I really like their lineup. I kind of seen them as a little bit more of a. They do have some more power than I kind of compared to them to a little to the Marlins hitting. That's got but they got some more power.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of similar teams. One thing they have a really good manager. Torey Lovello is a good X's and O's manager. So it'll be fun to watch them match up. Um, in this series, interesting. They do a lot of matching, and I noticed that Walt is starting to do that too. You think that's something that Walt definitely needs to take into place? I mean, my question is this here: Sean Murphy is definitely better behind the plate than Drake Baldwin. This is not a knock on Drake; it's just Sean's better behind the plate. We need Drake's bat in the lineup. You have a righty going in this series. How would you approach this series? I'm assuming he's still going to stick with Drake Friday and Sunday and Sean on Saturday. But I keep waiting for him to kind of say, look, we're going to let Sean catch and Drake DH. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of waiting on when Sean's just gonna when they're to get because go to that full postseason lineup right there with Sean behind the plate and Drake being the DH. I like the mixing matching because Yaz and Lane Thomas, whether it's a righty or a lefty, are really good together. I'm interested to see what Walt's going to do. Does he keep platooning Jarvis and Dubon, depending on what's going on, if he plays Sean Murphy or not? Um, so that's kind of where like I'm kind of at to answer your question. I just want to see where can we go into the consistency of the lineup, getting it ready for October as we kind of this is a good test for it to where Dubon, in my opinion, needs to be the everyday shortstop. Sean Murphy, like we both agree this, he's better back there behind the plate. I don't care what his bat does. He's much better calling a game. And Drake, you're not taking Drake's bat out of the lineup. So when's Walt going to do it? We'll see. But I do like the mixing and matching.
I do too. And the left field platoon is starting to show why AA went and got Lane Thomas because Lane Thomas can really hit left-handed pitching. I mean, Thornton's a really good young left-hander. He hit his best pitch out of the ballpark, the cutter out of the ballpark. And Yaz is now 1,000 OPS in his last 15 games, Andrew. 1,000.
Wow.
Austin Riley is getting hot. He's hit 350 average wise over the last 15 games. Ronald Acuna, me and Ryan talked on the recap. He's got that bounce in his step again. and he really looks like he's having fun. And Ronald Acuna has fun. So it's kind of a nice problem to have. They've got 13 guys on the roster. I think Walt feels good about any of the 12. We know which one he doesn't feel good about. But I'm interested, like you, how the lineup works. According to the Diamondbacks, they got kind of the same thing. They've got a lot of parts, and Torey Lovello tries to hit on the hot ones. So let's look at their hitters. They don't have Chase in this team. This is one team that we always talk about getting teams to Chase. This is not a Chase team. Maybe they do one thing they do very well. Corbin Carroll may be the best in baseball. At this is they can foul off pitches till they get their pitch. Corbin Carroll can be a nighthand. So that to me is a problem for our starting staff. Getting our pitch counts up. I think we're going to have to really, really pound the zone here, um, and that's where it kind of worries me. And I'm not Grant's pitched great. I'm really worried about Grant's start that he can get in this nibble mode. What do you think about our starters going against that lineup? Again, they don't have a lot of chase. They do have a couple guys that chase, but most of their lineup is very. Cattell Marte is another guy who doesn't chase. He fouls a lot of pitches off. He can get good and get back in count. Perdomo's like Ozzy Albies. He's a really good two strike bad ball hitter. So, how do you think our pitchers need to approach their lineup?
I'm pretty confident with Sale and Elder attacking the zone and getting some soft contact there. But like I agree with you on Grant. I think we really got to be able to attack the zone earlier in the count and hitting those location spots on the corners and mix and matching with their pitches. If we do that, we're going to have the Diamondbacks in a nutshell offensively, and then our pitchers will do well. But if, for example, if Grant's nibbling and he's missing a little bit off, he's going to walk the ballpark, and it may be a long Saturday night for our bullpen after that. So I we got to, like I said, we got to attack the hitters.
Yeah, I do like having the day off on Thursday to kind of reset the bullpen because I think our bullpen may have to throw a lot this weekend. Because again, they drive the pitch counts up. Hopefully, our starters can get in the fifth and sixth inning. We will see. Now, one thing about their lineup that people need to know, they are top heavy. They're kind of like the Phillies. First four batters, you got to kind of get through. There are outs to find in the bottom of their order, um, and some lower OPSs. So we'll see on that. So with that said, before we get into kind of how we think the series is going to go, anything like that, who on the Diamondbacks scares you the most? Who's the guys that you think? I mean, we know Corbin Carroll, but who's somebody out there that you think is sneaky? That's somebody we better watch out for in this series.
Gabriel Moreno, he has been on fire of late, and he always plays up to his competition in bigger series. And I think this is an underrated guy that's not named Corbin Carroll that we got to look out for.
Yeah, I agree. I like him too. And I don't know if it's old fear or what. I just don't want Nolan Arenado to have a moment in Atlanta this weekend. You know,
Yeah, I agree.
he's always hit against Atlanta, and I just don't want him to have a moment this weekend. Let's throw that fastball up here because he's getting to be an older man. He can't quite get to the fastball up. I watched a little bit of it was the Padres that played them, and King was like up here, bang, 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 just fastball. And, King's got a really good off speed and didn't throw him any off speed. He faced him three times in the game, and everything was fastballs. And I think he's kind of showing everybody Nolan is just not the same hitter above the hands anymore. So we'll see how that goes. With that said, let's get into the bullpens. And the bullpens are an interesting situation. Like you said, Paul Sewald is gone. They have a young closer now. They have a young guy that's closing, but the Braves have an over 800 OPS against him lifetime. So it's interesting. So I think the advantage of the bullpens definitely goes to Atlanta. How about you?
Oh, completely agree there with the bullpen. Our bullpen's the best in baseball, and I'm not sure where they're ranked in the bullpen wise, but I know it's nowhere near as good as ours.
Yeah, middle of the pack. They're a middle of the pack bullpen. They do give up. No, CJ does this a lot with us. We got to do a lot with them. When you take Seawald out and a couple of guys out, they tend to be a little bit better middle of the pack. That's the reason I said middle of the pack. I think they're like 19th though with those guys in. All right. So with that said, what starting pitcher has the to start this weekend is going to be pivotal.
Grant Holmes. It's Grant Holmes with the most important start, and we just told you why. So if you need to hear it a second time, go back and listen back. We just told you why Grant Holmes needs to have the most important and pivotal start of this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's Grant. He's got the tougher matchup. Rodriguez can be really tough. He can be really tough, and I know we hit left-handers well and underhanded batters, but where his plane that he throws on, he can get on top of our left-handed hitters. So hopefully Drake and Michael and Matt are driving the ball opposite way. Um, the one guy, we'll get to that on my pick of the click. There is one guy that sets up to hit Rodriguez fairly well. So I'll go with that. So bullpen wise, who's the guy this weekend that is kind of on the spot this weekend?
He didn't get used much in the Mets series. He looked good in the outside of one pitch in New York against the Yankees. I'm going with Didier Fuentes. He's his innings I think have kind of been limited the last couple weeks, and I think this is going to be the series where they kind of let him back loose and where he'll be needed a lot this weekend.
It's a good pick. Didier is going to have some big moments in this series. Him and Dylan Dodd, they're going to be brought in some games because, again, I just don't see our pitchers going deep. I hope they will. Hopefully they'll prove us wrong. They're all three of them are very capable of doing it, especially in Bryce and Chris have the most 6 inning starts. But Diamondbacks again have a lot of pitches in their game. They're one of the highest pitches offense in the game. They see a lot of pitches, so we'll see. I'm going to go with Rossiel. Rossiel is definitely on the kind of on the hot seat here. And Alicia, you're out there, you listening? I got your message. I haven't responded back, but yes, I'm wondering if there's some thought to maybe give Rossiel a couple of easier landing spots and maybe let him pitch the 8th and 7th inning. I don't think they'll go to the 7th. That's an interesting question you brought up. I don't think so, not with Suarez being out. But I do think that there is, I know Walt said he wasn't concerned, but you're going to say that in a press conference. I don't know if he's actually 100% honest about that. What do you think about Alicia's question of maybe Rossio getting some softer spots and softer as in terms of it's not the actual closing in the 8th inning? And that would mean probably Didier would have to close or Dylan Lee would have to close some of these games. What are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
Um, it's something I would certainly consider once Robert Suarez is back. In my opinion, I think Iglesias has the seniority to stay in that closer role for now, but I think it's something that we have to think about going into October. But I would be more open to giving the kid a couple extra or one or two save opportunities because I think he's got one or two saves this year and he looked pretty darn good in those opportunities. So I'm open to it and I think it needs to be considered, but for the further down the line once Robert is back going into October.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to happen, and I think that I do think he's going to keep doing like he's doing. That if Iglesias' pitch counts up, he's going to give Didier a shot, and he don't have no problem with Dylan Dodd or Dylan Lee also pitching high leverage innings. We'll see. So we're hitting the baseball, and the easiest way to help your bullpen and your starting rotations is to keep hitting the baseball. So who this weekend you think could have a huge series hitting the baseball?
Oh man, we're gonna go with Ronald Acuna. He hits Arizona pretty well. I almost went Austin Riley because he also usually hits Arizona pretty well. Ronald, I like his swings. He's got the happy swings and the happy feet back in a good way. Happy feet, and I just think Ronald's about to go pop off, and I think he's gonna have one opposite field home run.
I'll go with the other guy you mentioned. I think Austin Riley's fixing to go on an absolute heater. I'm talking about absolute heater. And when Austin gets on the heater, sometimes he does this 10 homers and 15 game kind of stretch. This is what I think he's just going to go through. And I like everything about his swings. Last game, Wednesday night against the Mets, hit 3 balls over 105 miles an hour. His one out was 98 miles an hour, a dead fly ball to center. Austin looks so comfortable, and we'll go with him. So with that said, we are saying there's a good chance they can have a good weekend, but will they? Andrew, what is your prediction on the series?
I think the Atlanta Braves will take 2 of 3 from this series, and Chris Sale is going to get us going on a good night tomorrow night or on Friday night.
I'm going to say 2 or 3, and on the recap with Ryan, he also said 2 or 3, and he also took Ronald Acuna Jr. Y'all two are lining up a lot together, Andrew. Oh, y'all are becoming buddies now all of a sudden. So, okay, that's good. But I'm going to say this here. I can't tell you which game they're going to win. Usually I can say this is the game we win, this is the game we might lose. And I know I've been on a heater. You know that. Predicted the Marlins sweep, predicted the Yankees beat us 2 out of 3, predicted the wins. So I've been on a heater, but this one, I can't tell which one. I'm sure I can see us losing any of the games, and I can see us winning any of the games. So I think this is definitely going to be an interesting series. I will say this here: if we take the first 2 games, I think there could be a possibility of a sweep. But
Oh, absolutely.
that would be Arizona on a 4-game losing streak, and they're kind of a fluky kind of team. And everybody knows their clubhouse is kind of it's okay, but it's not okay. Torey Lovullo has done a great job of keeping it together. But they do have some of their issues. I don't know how many times he's had to have an interview to try to explain Ketel Marte's actions. So I'm sure he enjoys that. So 2 out of 3. We got him taking 2 out of 3. So any final thoughts tonight before we get out of here?
Keep putting your foot on the other team's necks, boys. Playing good baseball. Love the way we're swinging the bat. Even though we lost on Monday, I love the way how we fought back into
I do
that
too.
game after being down 5-0. Keep hitting the ball. The pitching's going to be there. And Raisel Iglesias, please stop giving me heart attacks.
That's right. That's right. We'll get it together. So we're fixing to gear up, and we got a lot of stuff coming. We have guys wanting to come on the show. We are just really busy, and we do apologize for not having as much content. But we're kind of in that weird dog days of August. There's not a lot except to report on the games. We will get to a lot. We had a lot of good comments on Andrew's trade deadline thing on YouTube. I appreciate that. And we'll do some more stuff like that. But you're talking about 3 dudes and a young lady who's been really busy with our own work life. So we do appreciate all the nice comments, and we'll keep getting stuff out there. We love you, Braves Country, and as always, peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.